A very warm welcome, everybody, to the Drivers' Press Conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Japanese Grand Prix. We have the usual two groups coming your way. Group 1, left to right, we have Lance Stroll, Charles Leclerc and Farnco Colopinto. A very warm welcome to the three of you. Farnco, if we could start with you, please. A brilliant race last time out. Just how much of a breakthrough was China for you?
It was good. I've been looking for those points since a long time ago, and it was really positive for me and for the team to have a double point finish again since a very long time ago. So it was good, of course, that we were looking for more, and it was looking really positive at the start of the race. We were running 5th and 6th, and it was looking like we could score a whole lot more points. And of course, the safety car kind of damaged our race, mine and Pierre as well. Mine, because of the strategy, was much worse, but you know, it was still positive to see the performance, to see that we could fight on the front and that we could be up there with the big team. So I think generally it was a really positive weekend. In China, coming from Melbourne, it was a big step forward, and that was, of course, really positive, and motivated a lot of people in the factory. You could see the faces. I went a couple of days ago, and everyone was looking really positive, happy, motivated, wanting more, and that's what we want to see. So yeah, good weekend.
Confidence is a fickle thing for drivers. Just how much happier are you with this year's car compared to last year?
I'm happier, of course, that when you can fight a bit further up, it makes you feel more confident and makes you, give that extra little bit in different situations. And I think when you are so close to go through Q3, when you're in the fight, it is different. And last year, unfortunately, we didn't have that. This year it's looking much better, and of course the car did steps, and it's looking much closer to our teams. And that, I think also knowing that we have a lot of performance coming, or that we see many different things to improve, it's also really positive. When you are up there and you know that you've got many things to fix and to improve, it's even better. So I think looking forward to this year, it's feeling more competitive, and that makes you happier. And of course, we want to be fighting for points consistently, which is what we are looking for and trying to aim at.
And you think you can achieve that this weekend at Suzuka?
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's another new weekend, new track, very different on energy, on kind of corners, very long, very high speed. So it's going to be really different. I think still we need to understand our biggest weaknesses and where we are still needing to work more. China was a really different track to this one, so we need to see. But I think generally it's new for everyone. No one really knows where it's going to be, and we need to wait until tomorrow.
All right. Well, best of luck this weekend. Thank you, Farnco. Lance, if we could come to you now. Difficult start to the year for the team. Given the problems, how would you describe the mood in the team? Let's start with that.
Well, everyone's just working as hard as they can to improve the situation. For sure, none of us are happy with where we are. It's not the start of the season that we hoped for. But yeah, it is what it is, and just working as hard as possible to improve it.
Can we talk about potential improvements? I mean, laps have been limited, we know that, but do you believe the car still has potential?
I think so, yes. We know we have issues on the engine side. There's areas we need to work on with the car. I think high-speed corners is still a weakness for us. So, yeah, we're just trying to improve in all areas that we can, that we know that needs work. And, yeah, it's just about bringing performance as quick as we can.
Honda's home race here in Japan. What does success look like for you here at Suzuka?
Well, we're just trying to improve the issues we had in China. I mean, in China we had big vibration problems, reliability issues. So just tackling some of those problems, and I think getting both cars to the checkered flag would already be a good step forward for us.
Okay, look, final one from me. There's a lot of speculation surrounding the role of team principal at Aston Martin. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think Adrian has too much on his plate as things stand?
I mean, I don't know all the details about that, but I know Adrian's a team principal right now. I know that we have to improve the engine, we have to improve the car, and I think that's what everyone's focused on.
All right, thank you for that. And Charles, if we could come to you now. 2 races, 2 podiums for Ferrari so far this year. How much potential does this year's car have?
Well, I think as everyone is saying, I think this championship is going to be all about development and upgrades that each teams are going to bring. For now, we are in an okayish place, but of course we're not here to only do podiums, and we want to win races, which at the moment seems very difficult because Mercedes is at a very high level. But we are working very hard, and especially the people back at the factory are working extremely hard for bringing upgrades as soon as possible. I know there's quite a bit of things coming up soon. Whether this is going to make the difference or not, I don't know, and I'm pretty sure the others are not on vacation either, so it's going to be tough.
You say you're in an okayish place. Just how close to Mercedes are you?
I don't think it's as close as what maybe people think. Obviously, seeing the first few races, we see lots of fightings between the cars, which is actually quite nice. But as soon as you are a little bit suboptimal with these cars, you lose a lot of lap time. So our only chance to stay with them is to annoy them in the first few laps. But as soon as they get free air, then they've shown their real pace in the last race. And I think there's still these 4 or 5 tenths that we've seen throughout these first two races. So it's still a significant advantage. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't discourage me. And again, we have some things in the pipeline. We've got to focus on ourselves, not trying to overdo, because it's never good in these situations, and then we'll see where that brings us.
The gap between you and Mercedes appears to be a little bigger in qualifying than it is in the race. Do you think the energy recharge changes for qualifying here at Suzuka will bring you closer to them?
I don't think it will be a game changer. I think it will be pretty similar, apart from for the driver, where maybe a little bit less lift and coast, which is, I think, a good thing. I think for qualifying there are still some changes that needs to be done to make sure that we can push at the maximum whatever the limit of the car is. But at the moment, so far, for the first 2 races, it was more about managing everything properly in qualifying rather than the actual flat-out push that we were used to in Q3 in the past years. So there's still some fine-tuning to be done on that. But I don't think that this particular change will be a game changer for this weekend.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's now open this to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters. Who's first, please? David, yeah.
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Charles, on that subject then, of tweaks that can be made for qualifying, what would you do if you had the power to improve things? What would your suggestions be?
I don't really want to go into the detail of this because it's so complex and there are so many different little things that you can do. And I also think that obviously whenever there are these kind of changes, everybody's pushing a little bit its agenda. So, but I think, just whatever solution that helps us to push at the maximum those cars, because that's what I loved. I mean, that's what I love about this sport, really, is when you get to Q3 and that you have the maximum pressure on you to deliver at best at that moment, and that you try and do a lap that you haven't done before. And at the moment, this is not possible, because every time you do something that you haven't done before, then the car is just trying to adapt to it, and it makes you lose more than what you gain. So I think this is the biggest problem at the moment. The solutions is very, very, very complex, and yeah, but I know that everybody is trying to brainstorm ideas in order to find the best solution, and hopefully we come with a good solution very soon.
Charles, have you done a qualifying lap of Monaco on the simulator with these cars yet?
I mean, we've got quite a lot of issues to solve, so Monaco is quite a long way before we think about it and try it. So no, I haven't tried Monaco yet, but yeah, haven't tried Monaco yet.
All right, thanks. Next one.
A question to Charles. Charles, on this track, Ferrari can do something like Max did last year, beating the strongest McLaren?
I think it's a very different situation. I think after the first free practice, we'll already have an idea of where we stand compared to the Mercedes. I don't see any characteristics that would change drastically what we've seen in the first two races. So at the moment, I will say no. But yeah, let's wait and see. There's still some very long back straight where we know Mercedes is going to be extremely strong, but it's also a very twisty track in the first two sectors. So hopefully we can have a big enough advantage to be faster on the overall lap. But at the moment, it looks unlikely with the picture that we've made ourselves in the first two races.
Okay, thank you for that. Next.
Raphael Samt, Service TV. Question for Charles. Charles, Sebastian Vettel once said, in some way, everybody's a Ferrari fan. And people love to see you fighting up front again. After all these years in red, what's Ferrari to you?
I mean, Ferrari is a family and a team that I've always loved and dreamed of driving for since I'm a kid. And this hasn't changed one bit since I joined the team in 2019. So the passion is still there. Then, of course, the will to win, and we want to win eventually, and I want to win. It's been so many years, obviously, working with the team to try and come back to the top. It's been a good step forward this year. We are just not yet where we want to be, and we'll keep pushing towards that direction. And I hope our time will come soon because, yeah, it's been a long time since I started, and obviously time's passed. I'm doing my best, and I hope our time will come this year or as soon as possible.
Thank you. Next.
Andrew Benson, BBC Sport for Charles. Charles, there have been two different races on different tracks where there's both been these yo-yo type racing battles that you've been involved in, among others, perhaps for different reasons. Can you explain why those battles are happening in that way, and if it's different from track to track, the reasons why? And also, on a wider scale, is it like Mario Kart, as some people have said?
Honestly, I was a bit skeptical. I mean, I was very skeptical at the beginning of the year, and after testing, I had some particular expectations going into the year that weren't very good about racing. I've been positively surprised. At least for us in the front, it's actually been a lot nicer than what I thought. And surely you've got some overtakes that are artificial, just like it was the case also with the RS sometimes last year. However, there are also many overtakes where it's actually on the limit and where you end up in a similar state of the battery at the same point for different circumstances, and which makes it actually quite fun. We've seen it in Australia, we've seen it in Shanghai, and I've had a lot more fun than I initially thought. As I said, I think in qualifying it's not the most fun I've had, so this is maybe something that we need to look at. But in terms of fighting, I enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought. And why that? Well, it's mostly because Mercedes is quite a bit stronger than us, but as soon as you get out of that optimal window of the battery, you lose a lot of lap time. And so that brings the cars together, and that's why there's a lot of change of position, together with the fact that the car behind recharges more than the car in front. So all of this, I mean, these two things specifically makes it quite difficult to go away once you are in a fight.
Farnco, can I bring you in on this? You were involved in many battles in China. Was it like Mario Kart for you? How much did you enjoy it?
Not quite. I managed to see in front a lot of laps, so to me it was quite fun, and I think to me it felt better and more fun to be fighting with cars with a different PU, because I think that energy management is different between the teams and between the different PU manufacturers, and then it becomes a bit easier, I think, to fight, to defend as well, a bit more difficult, but it kind of brings battles a bit closer with each other because it is so different where the teams use energies, which makes it a bit more interesting. I think generally it is difficult to follow, but I've been following close some cars and it feels better than last year in terms of turbulence and all that kind of thing. And to be honest, it felt fun. China was a good race, and I did enjoy it quite a lot. I enjoyed the defense and when I was attacking others, and generally it was pretty good. It didn't feel too artificial. I think the overtakes were just on the limit all the time. I've seen some that were a bit more artificial, but I think it's part of the changes that the sport made, and that's still improving and it's still going on the right direction. And I think it's still a lot of areas to make better, and the important part is that they are looking at those and that they understand them and that they are having I think a clear look at it, and they will make it better with the races. It's been only 2 races at the minute. It's really early to talk to say if we like it or not, but I think generally it's gonna be better with the races as well and with the years.
Welcome back to Suzuka, everybody, for part 2 of our drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula 1 Japanese Grand Prix. Joining us now, left to right, we have Lando Norris, Ollie Bearman, and Liam Lawson. Now, Ollie, I'd love to know what you're showing on the screen there, but why don't we start with you anyway? Look, what a start to the season it's been for you. You've scored at every opportunity and now sit P5 in the World Championship. How do you reflect on the season so far? What's pleased you most?
It's been a good start. Obviously, it's round 2, and I don't expect to stay P5. It's a long season, but it's been a great start. I'm really happy with that. Car has been reliable, and so that's good. I'm happy about that. The car has also been really quick. So yeah, we've been able to score some good points. I think now is the time for us to be able to do that. It's gone well, so I'm happy.
What aspect of this car are you enjoying the most? Where's it quick? Where do you feel you're able to get the most out of it?
Well, I mean the chassis is and the aero is great. The guys have done a great job in the team, with bringing us a good car from race 1. Basically, we made a big step throughout the test, and the car has improved a lot since the test, and now we're in a really good place. So I've been enjoying it. I think on this track it is going to feel interesting, but that's out of our hands. What we've done, the team, I'm really proud of the job they've done.
Can we get your thoughts on the changes to the amount of energy recharge that the teams are going to be doing over 1 lap in qualifying? Do you welcome the change?
It's just making us even slower. On one hand, we don't have to do any lift and coast anymore, which is probably a bit better for us, but it just means we have to do a lot of... we still have to recharge the energy, and we spend a lot of time just with no energy because we're losing 1 megajoule compared to what we had on the sim and prior to coming here. So I think there's better ways of achieving the same thing. If we could harvest at negative 350 kilowatts while on full throttle, I think it would make everyone's lives a bit easier. But this is also a solution, I guess.
Look, thank you for that. Lando, can I bring you in on the subject of the energy recharge in qualifying? Can we get your thoughts? Do you welcome it?
It's different. I need to go out and drive with it first. I think it'll eliminate some things. It will shift around some other bits. I think the thing is you also have tracks where it'll be better. Some tracks it'll work and be a much better thing. Some tracks it won't change too much. So it should be a little bit better here. It's not like it's going to change the whole world. But honestly, I need to go and drive on track first and understand it.
Look, before we talk more about this weekend, can we throw it back to China?
No.
Look, it was a very tough moment for you and the team with neither you nor Oscar able to make the start. Do you guys fully understand the cause of the problems?
Yep. Yeah. I know, alongside HPP, I think it took a little bit of time to figure things out, but yeah, I mean, of course, it hurt us as a team. It certainly didn't make us look good to have two cars not starting a race. I think what hurt more is the fact it was out of our control. But with HPP, we've worked hard to figure things out, to understand how it happened, why it happened, and of course, we'll do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. But you live and you learn. It was a tough one for all of us. None of us want to have a weekend like that, and especially start a Sunday like that. So, yeah, hurt a lot. But I think at the same time, a good time for us to learn and step back and move on to this weekend.
Especially without the mileage in the race in China, you're still learning about this car. What conclusions are you reaching at this early stage? How much potential does the car have?
The car's got a lot of potential. We're certainly not where we want it to be, but I think I think the real question you probably ask is, would I rather be here and have won last year, or would I rather have a slightly better car now and not have won last year? And I think you know what my answer would be. So, you can't have the best of everything. And I think as a team, we certainly are not where we want to be and where we desire to be. But I think we all know within the team what we can achieve. And now is just as good of a time as ever to prove exactly what we can do as a team, against Ferrari, against Mercedes, who are performing very well at the minute. But I know all the boys and the girls back in the factory are working very hard, and there's good progress happening. It takes time to improve on some things, and it's not like we're bad. We're still third best team at the minute, but we certainly enjoy being first a lot more than third. So time will tell. We've got some things in the pipeline, and like I said, everyone's working hard, so we're ambitious to get back to the top.
Lando, thanks for that. And Liam, let's come to you now. What a difference a year makes. You're coming to Suzuka on the back of a brilliant Chinese Grand Prix weekend. Just how much confidence did those 2 points finishes give you in Shanghai?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was a good weekend for sure. To be honest, we weren't very, very fast through the weekend, so we qualified quite badly, and it definitely wasn't a track that suited us. So we definitely made the best out of it. I think at the start of the race, we were aiming to try and get to the points. We definitely didn't expect to finish where we did. Obviously, it helps having some of the front guys not finishing, but even still, we would have been back into the points, which would have been a good race for us. So happy with China. I'm sure this weekend's going to be tough. Obviously, we have new changes to the cars this weekend that we have to try and adapt to, but it's been a decent start.
Just from a driving point of view, are you enjoying this year's smaller, lighter cars?
They're very different for us to drive at the moment. They're very different to get used to each track. I think the thing is, the big difference, we used to go into weekends spending pretty much all of our time thinking about setting up the car and optimizing the car balance. Right now, it's really energy management, we spend so much time talking about trying to manage the energy and get the most out of that because there's so much lap time in it. The racing is quite different as well. We have to basically use a lot of different tools and drive a lot differently to try and overtake and defend, and it's something that we're still learning. So far, because it's new, it's obviously quite different and difficult, to be honest. So it's something that we're all still getting used to.
Are you having to be more strategic in your approach to the racing this year compared to last year when you had DRS, for example?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just more consequences when you get it wrong, if you use too much energy or something like this, it can be quite punishing. So we definitely have to. You're doing a lot more thinking, I would say, when you're driving.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's now open this to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters and David.
Yeah, David Croft, Sky Sports F1. It's a question for Liam and for Ollie, because you've had a bit more racing than Lando. Sorry, Lando, I don't want to talk about China for too much. How have you had to change your driving style this season with the new cars, or have you not had to change your driving style? What's different in the cockpit when you're racing this year?
It is for both of us, yeah. I would say it's quite easy to like we would say overdrive. I think in last year's car, you go into qualifying and you try to make quite a big step with obviously how much downforce the cars have. You gain grip and you start attacking the car in qualifying. And obviously you can still do it and get it wrong and overdrive, but it was definitely an exciting factor going into qualifying when your car's light, you're trying to attack it. But I think this year the harder thing is it's very easy to overstep that and use too much and basically make a mistake. So I think this year, pretty much all quali, like Melbourne quali for me, it took me all the way to Q3 on a used tyre to actually just put a lap together, because all the laps before that I just kept trying to attack and basically making a mistake and actually just bringing it back. So it's definitely a different thing that we're having to get used to.
Ollie, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's quite a difference, particularly in qualifying. I think that there have been some moments where, you know, for example, in Canada, I'm ahead of myself. In China, we were in, you know, it went through the whole of qualifying, and actually on my final lap, I did all of my best corners, but I actually went slower by like 0.2, because sometimes actually going faster in the corners and picking up throttle earlier, it confuses the car, and you end up losing outright lap time, which is really strange. Even sometimes, like, you know, there are some corners, there's not many, but, you know, 1 or 2 corners per track where if you go on throttle and then lift and return to throttle, it just messes up everything. Like, it can be 3% of throttle, and that can finish your lap, basically. So it happened to me in China, and I lost 0.2 down the back straight, and I was so confused. And then you look back, and they're like, oh yeah, you had 5% less battery to start the straight, and that's really the difference that it can make. So it's tough, because I think what they've tried to do to help us is, you know, is already starting this weekend, but it's tough because the way that we've always driven, you know, you push more and more throughout qualifying, and you get to that final run, you try to get everything out of it, and it ends up being slower. Actually, you're better off just driving at 99% and doing consistent laps, which is a bit against our nature, you know, it's something we're having to adjust to. Then in the race, I think it's a bit more straightforward. But yeah, definitely on qualifying, it takes a bit of adjustment.
Ollie, what do you think a track like Monaco will be like? Will you be back to 100%?
Well, actually, in Monaco, because it's so short, there's so many braking zones. I haven't done any sim or anything. I haven't even looked at any stuff for Monaco, but I expect it to be maybe one of the closer tracks to what we've had in the past. It's more those kind of short straights where you only want to deploy a tiny amount of energy, that if you have a snap or whatever and you lift throttle, then you deploy way more than you're meant to. I think Monaco will be a bit more normal. I'm quite looking forward to Monaco.
All right, thank you. Next one, please.
Mara San Giorgio, Sky Sport F1 Italy. A question to Lando. Lando, the season has just started. It's very unusual. Will you be able, as a team, to fight again like last year, for example, for a title? How much are you confident?
I mean, I don't know. I can't remember how many points we were behind in 24 from you know, Mercedes and Red Bull, Ferrari. But I think it was, you know, we're over 150 points or something behind, and we still managed to come back and win the constructors. So, and I don't know how far we are behind now. It's already quite a bit, but I think we're not necessarily thinking of that just yet. I think what we are thinking of is getting on the podium first of all, and then just returning to winning races. The points then take care of themselves, and we'll see what we can claw back. But and we're confident in that. I want to say I think we're confident as a team, and we believe in ourselves that you know, we've won the last 2 championships, and we won the drivers last year because we could build the best car on the grid. And I'm confident we can get back to doing that this year. So. Just takes time. You have to be patient. But yeah, I have a good belief in the team, and I think we can have the best car this year.
Thank you, Lando. Next.
Andrew Benson, BBC Sports, for all 3 of you. What's leading to the yo-yo racing that's happening at the moment? What different aspects are leading to it? Because I think it might be different from track to track. And interrelated to that, how much of this year's engine is going to ruin Suzuka on a qualifying lap, if you've done this sim already? In terms of, you know, which corners are no longer grip limited because you, like the S's, for example. in case you're recovering energy there.
World champion, can we start with you?
I mean, it's never ruined. I don't think you can ever ruin this track. I think will it be as spectacular? I don't think so. It will not be, but it's still an incredible track to drive. There'll certainly be some places where it just won't be as, you'll start clipping into spoon, and that's one of the quickest corners where you turn in. You're going incredibly quick. Like last year, you didn't even break into spoon entry. You did? Yeah. You'll learn. One day, guys. So it didn't even break. And like that's, it took a risk to get to that point, and it feels incredible when you're in quali and you're pushing it to the limits like that. Like Degner 1, not even a full lift, that kind of thing. So you probably were full lift, yeah, and downshift. So I don't think, to be honest, we might just be flat through those corners now because you're clipping, and it's quite a different world. So it'll be better now, I think. I think you'll see some places not as spectacular as what it's been in the past, but I think it's still going to be cool to drive in qualifying. And the yo-yoing in the racing, I think everyone's going to have a different opinion on this one. You just use your battery, and the next straight you have no battery. So it's, the thing is, it looks great on TV, and it's good. The viewers seem to love it. I think a lot of people seem to love it. Yeah, it's just a different type of racing, and I enjoyed sitting on the side last weekend and watching the battles of Ferrari and things like that. It was cool to see, honestly. So part of me is like that's a good thing, but some of that racing is because simply the guy who overtakes, because he has to use the battery, then has absolutely zero battery, and you're just a complete passenger and you can't do anything. So you're not exactly racing when you're in that situation as well as you were before. So depends what you want, depends how you want to view it. FIA are trying to make improvements to these kind of things, and I think they will over time. So not in a position where I think it's as good as it can be, but we'll give it time.
I think some of the greatest aspects of this track might not be as great this year, simply because of the energy constraints and the fact that we have to recharge Degner 1, Spoon, all of these places. Maybe I'll go faster than last year, actually. But yeah, it's just watching the onboarder, when I arrived today, start watching all of the onboard and everything from last year, it's so spectacular. The fact is we've lost, a lot of downforce compared to last year, which is one thing, and that, will be one thing. But also on in terms of energy, like we were seeing, Degner might be not really a grip limited corner anymore, because it would become power limited, which is a bit of a shame. But let's see how it looks out there on track. And about the racing, I think it's really good for the show. I think the races look fantastic, but it's tough sometimes. I had a bit of experience racing with Farnco in China, and you spend a lap thinking about where to plan the move, and then you finally go for it, and then he just flies past you on the next straight because he's got so much more battery. So it's really frustrating if you can't get it right. Yeah, it's a bit, again, it's not what we've been used to throughout our careers, right? Normally when you get a better exit, you get a better run all the way down the straight, but that's not necessarily the case anymore, which is weird. But generally I think it's been really good for the show, and with a bit of optimization and changes, the FIA have been incredibly receptive to that. I think we can make it just as good for the show, but a bit more rewarding for us as drivers. So I'm excited to see what we can do with this hardware. I think it has a fantastic potential.
Yeah, honestly, not much to add. I think they answered it very, very well. I think it's a track that obviously in history is a very iconic place, very exciting to drive, very on the limits, especially in qualifying, and especially with the fact that we can't have lots of SM here as well because of the way the straights are. That's going to obviously make it even more hard on the battery. So it's definitely a tricky one. And from the racing side, yeah, I honestly agree. I think obviously it has potential. It's very early days, and I'm sure that it'll get better. But from a driver's perspective, that sort of real racing feeling that we are used to is just slightly different this year in the way that you have to plan these moves and yeah, sometimes if you can, even if you're clever and you use your battery right, like Ollie said, you can just get past back basically. So it's something we're getting used to.